Hello everybody, welcome to our first day of the David Walliams week. This is Anton and I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be doing some activities based around the book Gangsta Granny. Now I don't know if you've read the book, it doesn't matter if you haven't, but in the story there's a boy called Ben and he has to go and visit and spend time with his granny, and he doesn't like going because every time he goes there she makes something made of cabbage for him to eat. Cabbage soup, cabbage stew, lots of cabbagey dishes, and he doesn't like it very much at all. But today we are going to do some things that show some good stuff that you can do with cabbages. And first of all we're going to do some science experiments. And if you can see here in this jug, this purple juice, this is from purple cabbage. And there's two ways that you can make this solution. One of the ways is to half fill a blender with water and to put in a couple of red cabbage leaves and blend it all down and then sieve it so you get all the cabbage out and you've just got the juice, the water left. Or another way, if you don't have a blender, is you can chop the red cabbage up very small and put it in a jug or a container and pour on some boiling water. Stir it for a few minutes, and then when it's cooled down, sieve it again so you've just got the cabbage water. It's very important with all of this experiment that you have a grown-up with you who's watching what you're doing and making sure you're doing everything safely, because the last thing we want is for anybody to get hurt. Okay, so once you've got your cabbage water, we're ready to start our experiment. So Anton, do you want to pour a little bit of cabbage water into each of the cups?
Okay.
There we go. Well done. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some things into the cabbage water and see what happens. And the first thing we'll put into one is some lemon juice. So if you'd like to squeeze that lemon there. And while Anton's doing that, have a little think what you think might happen to the cabbage water when we put some lemon juice in. Have a little think what you predict might happen. You done that?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to pour a little bit into there. Let's see what happens. Are you ready? Oh, what's happened, Anton?
It's turned pink.
It's turned pink. Can you see? Now that's because in red cabbage there's a chemical called anthocyanin, and when that comes in contact with acids or alkalines, it affects what colour it changes. So because this colour has gone pink, that means that lemon juice has lots of acid in it, because the purple colour changes to pink or red if it has acid. Let's try and pour some water, just water, into one. What do you think is going to happen when we pour water on? Let's have a look and see. What's happened, Anton?
It's just stayed purple.
It stayed the same. So that tells us that water is pH neutral. So it isn't acid and it isn't alcohol, it's neutral, so it doesn't affect the colour at all. So now, here, we have some bicarbonate of soda. Sometimes we've done experiments with this before, with vinegar, and it's gone fizzy everywhere. What do you think is going to happen with the bicarbonate of soda? Let's have a look. What colour's it gone, Anton?
It's gone blue.
It's gone blue, hasn't it? So do you think it's acid? Not acid, is it? Because acid makes it go red and pink. And it's not neutral, because it hasn't changed, stayed the same colour. This actually has alkaline in it, or some people call it base. And so that makes it go blue or green or yellow. It depends how strong. So the stronger the alkaline, the more green or yellow it goes. The stronger the acid, the more red it goes. So there we go. But if you decide to do this experiment at home, I'm going to put up a list of things that you could test. If you make your cabbage water, there's lots of things that you could test. And remember, if it's red or pink, it's acid. And if it's blue or green or yellow, it's alkaline or base. If it stays the same, it's neutral. Now I'm going to give you a list of things that you might find around your house that you can test. Again, this is very important. You must have a grown-up with you when you're doing it so that they can make sure that you're handling things safely. And you must never, ever, ever put anything in your mouth that you're doing science with, okay? So don't forget, we would love, if you do have a go at any of this, to send some pictures of perhaps of your cabbage water experiments. You don't have to be in the picture yourself if you don't want to. And you could maybe tell us what substances you've tested and what colour the cabbage water's changed to. Don't forget, every single picture that you send throughout the week, we will be one ticket in the draw for your £10 gift voucher, and then we can show everybody on the Painting Facebook page what brilliant scientists you are today. Okay? I'll be back in a minute to show you some cooking recipes that we can use the rest of the red cabbage and the white cabbage for. Remember, Granny, Ben's Granny, cabbage can be nice too. See you in a minute. Hello again. So, as well as using cabbages for some really cool science experiments, cabbage can actually be quite delicious. So I have a couple of recipes now to show you that I'm sure if Ben's granny had made these, he wouldn't have had a problem eating cabbage. They're really delicious. Before we start to cook, what's the first thing we really need to remember to do? We remember to wash our hands, don't we? Especially at the moment, but always when you're cooking. So I've washed mine. So don't forget to wash yours before you start. So the first thing we're going to make is some coleslaw. And it's very nice. It's not like the coleslaw you buy in the shops. It's far more delicious. And everything always tastes more delicious when you make it yourself. So we're going to start off with some white cabbage that I've sliced into nice thin strips. And you can do that if your grown-up says you can, or they might like to do the cutting for you, or if you've got a fancy food processor, you might want to use that to slice it. So we'll put some white cabbage in. Don't worry about the amounts of things, because at the end of this recipe, on the film, we'll put all the things that you need and how much. Okay, so we've got some white cabbage, and then we're going to add some grated carrot. Now this is something that you can do, but promise me that you'll mind your fingers when you're grating. The recipe only needs grated carrots, not grated fingers as well, okay? So there we go. Again, it might be something if you've got a fancy food processor, you might want to do it in there. So we have some cabbage and we have some carrots. Now we're going to put some onions in. And I've got these spring onions. This is what they look like when you buy them. So I've got these ones ready. I've taken off some of the outside leaves that are all a bit dirty. So you've got the nice clean ones underneath. Chopped off the roots at the end and given them a wash. And this is what they look like now. So we're going to use 4 of these. And I've got some nice clean kitchen scissors. We're going to use kitchen scissors. We're not going to use gluey craft scissors. Nice clean kitchen scissors. And we can just slice them into little rings into the coleslaw. To do that a bit faster. There you go. Snip, snip, snip. Again. Snip the onions, don't snip your fingers. Good. And one more. Now, this is really nice. There's lots of things you can have this with. Especially nice if you have a barbecue. There we go. So crunchy. There, so there's all our onions done. There. So what we'll do, we will mix them all together just a little bit so that everybody gets a little bit of everything. My boys really like this coleslaw. They never used to like coleslaw until they tried this one, and now they really like it. So even if you think you don't like it, just give it a try, you never know. And if you're making it, it's going to be delicious, isn't it? Right, so there we go. And now we need our dressing. So we're going to put this on the scales. We're going to put some mayonnaise in. There we go. Again, I'll tell you how much of everything at the end, and then it's easier to remember, isn't it? There we go. And we're going to put some natural yogurt in as well. There we go. Makes it really nice and creamy. There we go. There. And now, only one more thing to go in, and that's some pepper. So, you'll know how peppery you like things, so you can decide how much pepper to put into your coleslaw. And then once that's all in, we can mix it all together. This is the fun bit. This is the fun bit, getting all mixed in. There we go. Look at that. Lovely creamy coleslaw. Yum yum. Try and make sure all the carrot gets mixed in so that we all get some carrot and we all get some cabbage and we all get some onions. Oh, it smells so nice. And there we are. There is our lovely white cabbage coleslaw ready for our tea. How nice does that look? Well done. So the next thing I'm going to show you how to make is another recipe, and it's my favourite recipe, and it's one of my favourite things to eat, and it's another type of coleslaw salad, but it's with red cabbage, and it's actually vegan, so that's good. If you're vegan, you can make that one as well. So, white cabbage, see you in a minute, and I'll show you how to make some red cabbage coleslaw. So, we've made some nice white coleslaw with white cabbage. This is another cabbage recipe that I think maybe Gangsta Granny could have tried, and then it would have been a bit more appealing. Again, we're using cabbage, but this time we're using red cabbage, and it's a different kind of coleslaw. This one's called winter coleslaw, but I think it's so delicious that you can have it all year round. So first of all, we're going to put in, I'll put the amounts at the end as well for you. So we're going to put in some red cabbage into our bowl. Now, if it's a bit tricky for you to slice the cabbage, you could always get your grown-ups to cut it for you into chunks, and then you can separate it so that it's nice thin strips. But be prepared, if you do, you'll probably end up with purple fingers for a while till you wash them all clean. So we've put in our red cabbage, and then we've got some grated carrot like we had in the other coleslaw. Again, be very careful when you're grating, won't you? So we're going to put in our grated carrot, and we have, now the recipe says that you can use butter beans like I've got here, or chickpeas. I have to be honest and say that I think it's nicer with chickpeas, but you know how things are at the moment with our shopping. I didn't have any chickpeas in my cupboard. It will be just as nice with butter beans. So we're going to put some butter beans in. It'll be good stuff, so good for us, and it tastes lovely. We're also going to add some sultanas. Again, if you haven't got sultanas but you've got raisins, you can use those instead. It will still taste delicious. And we're going to add, wait for this, some orange segments. So you need to peel your orange, and then if I was Mary Berry, I would say that you should take off the little bit of membrane that's around the outside of the orange, so it looks like this. But I'm not Mary Berry, and the Queen's not coming to tea, so I think it will taste just as nice if you've got it still on. Okay, so don't worry too much about it. If when you're doing that you get some juice, chuck that in as well. It all adds to the lovely flavour. So, one more thing to add before we do our dressing, and that's some chopped coriander. It's got a nice spicy flavour, but not hot, just a lovely flavour. So, oh, I'm getting hungry already. I'm having this for my tea. I can't wait. So, we'll mix up all of our ingredients that we've put in so far, so it all gets into those lovely colours. Oh, I can't wait to get this. It's delicious. Try and get everything mixed up so that everybody, when you spoon it out, everybody gets a little bit of everything. There we are. And then we've got that ready. So now we just need to put our dressing on. Now, with the other coleslaw we made before, the white coleslaw, we had yoghurt and mayonnaise. And this has a vinaigrette style dressing. So what we're going to have is we're going to have some olive oil, and we're going to have 4 tablespoons of that. So you help me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to have 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Now the good thing about these recipes is if you don't have some of the things that you need, you can always put something else in that you like. So if you don't have any oranges, perhaps you could put apple or pear in or something like that. But I have to say the orange makes it taste really zingy. And then we need some pepper, some ground pepper. Just do as much as you like. If you like it peppery, then you'll put a bit more in, won't you? And we're going to whisk all that together. And this makes the dressing. Another way you could do it is if you put it into a jam jar, and then you can put the lid on tight and shake it to mix it all together. And then we're going to pour it over our salad, our coleslaw here, our winter coleslaw, and again give it a good mix so that the dressing goes all the way through. Oh my goodness, that looks so delicious. Wish you could smell it. There we are, and there is our winter coleslaw. Can't wait for my tea. There we are, look. Doesn't that look delicious? Hope you have a try and hope you like it. And don't forget, if you haven't got some of the things that we need, I'm sure there was something else you could put in instead. Cheerio. Enjoy.